দর্শক, ল অ্যান্ড জাস্টিস প্রোগ্রামে আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগতম জানাচ্ছি। আমি টাইম টেলিভিশনের পক্ষ থেকে। আজকে আপনারা জানেন যে প্রতি সপ্তাহে আমরা এই ল অ্যান্ড জাস্টিস প্রোগ্রামে ইমিগ্রেশনের কারেন্ট বিষয় নিয়ে আলোচনা করি, সাম্প্রতিক বিষয়াবলী নিয়ে আলোচনা করা হয় এবং এই অনুষ্ঠানে অংশগ্রহণ করে থাকেন বিশিষ্ট ইমিগ্রেশন অ্যাটর্নি সেলিম রিজভী। মিস্টার সেলিম রিজভী দীর্ঘদিন থেকে এখানে প্র্যাকটিস করছেন। আমরা তার সাথে এখন কথা বলছি। মিস্টার রিজভী, ওয়েলকাম টু দ্য শো।
Thank you very much.
So, what is the latest?
What is the latest? There's so many news.
Okay.
Let's start with two important news items. One is about the executive action, and the other is about the DACA program. And you can see the contrast how federal courts are making their decision on immigration issues. One is very hopeful, one is a very good news, and that is about the
Let's talk about the good news.
Good news. And then we'll discuss about the bad news.
Yeah.
Well, not so good news because it's not completely bad news because that's not the end of it. So let's talk about the good news. Remember the DACA program?
Yes.
Very famous program. Lots of children got advantage of it and filed the application and were benefited. There was a court litigation which started in the district court first, and it was the state of Mississippi and also a couple of ICE agents. They brought a lawsuit saying that DACA should be stopped because they have if it is not stopped, their interests are going to be injured. I don't want to go into it because that becomes a very technical issue.
Yes.
But the bottom line is the district court threw their case out. Then they took the appeal and filed it with the Fifth Circuit Court. It is the same circuit court where the executive action appeal is pending and going to be discussed on April 17th. So the circuit court dismissed the appeal as well. So DACA applicants are safe. They can apply under the DACA program if they are qualified, they are eligible. They can get their work authorization, but unfortunately they cannot travel. Remember, you were part of that whole campaign where people wanted to see the DREAM Act coming through so that people can get their green card. All right. U.S. military is still very open on that, and they're providing this opportunity for people who are
illegal and
unfortunately who have no legal papers, immigration papers, but they want to accommodate them as long as the applicant meet their requirement. On the other hand, Judge Hannan, Andrew Hannan, Justice Hannan, who is sitting in Texas, he once again he dismissed the request by the U.S. Department of Justice in which they requested that the restraining order, which is holding off the executive action, President Obama's action, should be lifted, but he's not budging on it. So he's standing his ground. He said, I cannot do anything because my decision is absolutely correct and right on this issue. So now the next step is obviously the appeal has already been filed.
It's filed by White House?
Well, on April 17th we would come to know about it. Fifth Circuit is going to make a decision on it. But very strangely, they have opened the forum for discussion. I mean, for oral discussion. In most of the cases, what they do is when they receive the appeal, they will make the decision on papers. So they don't allow oral argument. But I think perhaps is the nature and scope of this case that they wanted to hear both sides orally. So both sides' attorney are going to.
So the both sides will be in front of the judge and
in front of the judge
and
make
the argument oral or
before
oral
the circuit
argument.
judge. Yes, it's going to be oral argument. So it's very interesting to see how they are going to.
So government will
matter.
send their people.
Absolutely.
And the opposition,
well,
the government,
26,
the governor also.
26 states, obviously. They're part of it. That's very interesting to see.
What do you think? If say about it's negative, then what?
Well, then further appellate review of it. It can also go to the Supreme Court because this is a very important issue. But time is of the essence. The most important thing is to wrap up the whole thing.
Because the
it has been a couple of months. I mean, it started in February, and then there was a hold on it. Obviously, Republicans' party strategy is to gain as much as time possible.
Yes.
Because now we have already entered into the presidential
Race.
election
Yeah.
arena, and you know, and some of the people are wondering whether the Republican Party is going to do something about it. You know, Ted Turner has said something about it. Jeb Bush
Yes.
has taken different position, and now Rand Paul, the senator from Kentucky, he has announced his presidential bid.
Bid, yeah.
Our neighbor Governor Christie is still waiting.
Also, he's still
You know,
waiting.
obviously, yeah.
yeah, thing
what
thing
is your
not-
opinion about
Chris
Chris Christie? Yeah.
I think he's trying to understand the situation, and
Yeah.
then if he feel that the whole thing is favorable,
Yeah.
then he will jump on it.
Yeah.
And he's trying to catch Republican as well as the Democrat votes, because you
Yeah.
remember when the last year when it was a devastated
Yeah.
you know, hurricane,
Yeah.
and he bring President Obama there, which
Right.
the
Right.
Republican
That is the best.
they
Yeah.
criticize him. You know,
Absolutely,
he was
yeah.
with them.
He was criticized
Uh,
because of his closeness
Yeah, closeness with Obama.
with Obama.
But
yeah.
I think the reason he did it, because he thought maybe he can use it to upcoming.
I think you're absolutely
Yeah.
right, and also at the same time, I think his immigration views are not very well known, but we have seen, for instance, the DREAM Act. He has created this concession for students and providing them
Yeah.
in-state tuition rate, which is great.
Yeah,
So that is something very favorable. But at the same time, he was part of 26 states which are opposing President
Yeah.
Obama's executive action. So
But
his
also
position
he-
is not very clear.
Yeah, but you have to understand he is from New Jersey, and New
Yeah.
Jersey is dominated by, you know, I mean,
Immigrants,
heavily
absolutely. Yeah.
democratic state.
Yeah.
So he has to understand that he got the momentum from his state as well.
Right.
You know, and in order to do it, he I don't think that he will be like any other
Right. Yeah.
Republican. You know.
And also our history, political history, tell us that extreme position
is not good for.
not good for the country. It's
Yeah.
not good for the candidate.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
As long
basically-
as you have a very central course of action,
yeah,
where you
the
want to
last
bring-
two election,
yeah,
the even Republican Party, they realized that
Yeah,
they need
yeah.
the support from the
Yeah.
ethnic minority community as well. Without their vote,
yeah.
they can succeed.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and also there is awareness even on the immigration issue, and Republican Party is realizing that they have to get the support of immigrants.
Yeah.
You know, without their support, they cannot succeed.
No, you remember right after the election night, the election second term, Obama won, he owned second term.
Right.
Then all the political, you know, analysts and gurus,
Yeah.
they always talk about the Republican fault, that okay, they have to attract the
Yeah, right.
the immigrant voters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without the immigration,
Yeah.
they will not succeed.
Right.
Only Republican vote
Hmm.
is not enough to.
You are absolutely right. And Senator Rubio, we
Yeah.
mentioned about him
yeah.
in our last show. He came forward and he said, "Look, without the help of Latino voters,
No one. Can succeed.
anyone from Republican Party cannot be the president of this country." All right. So
See,
in order to
the
achieve
whole
that,
immigration issue, even the primetime speaker,
Right.
last Democratic Party
Yeah.
convention,
yeah,
they bring a guy from Austin, Texas. He was the mayor of
right, right,
Austin mayor. His mother was illegal.
mm,
His grandmother is still alive. His mother died,
right,
and he born, in Texas.
yeah,
His mother was illegal,
right,
and the reason Democratic Party bring him to
mm.
show the the Latino voters, look.
Yeah, we are
you
so
know.
passionate about this issue, you know.
Yeah.
And in our files and ranks, we have people
Yeah.
who have the similar story.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a great way of connecting with the people, but you know, if it is done just to avail that opportunity,
Yeah.
then you know there should be some sentimental value to
Yeah.
it as well. But sometimes, you know, politicians have very their own agendas and they try to do things in their own way.
Yeah.
But as long as people are getting
Yeah, I'm
benefited
kind of
by, I think
confused
it's-
whether this mayor was from which city, but
Right.
he is from Texas, in
Right.
either Santo Domingo,
Hmm.
no Santo Domingo, I
Austin?
think Texas, Austin,
Texas, yeah,
or somewhere, you know.
I heard about the story, but I
Yeah.
did not know.
No, I was
where
at the
person was.
convention,
Yeah,
and I
okay.
heard the live speech.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was amazing. You know, his
Mm.
wife was there, his brother was
Yeah.
there, so it was great. So what is the new thing coming up?
Well, the new thing is, I mean, obviously H-1B, we discussed about H-1B
yeah, yes, last
time.
time, yeah.
And Immigration Service has received more than enough applications. So they're saying if people will file H-1B now, new applications.
Mhm.
And by the way, I want to draw that distinction here. It's very important. I don't want to convey a wrong impression that
Mhm.
H-1B passage is closed. For new applications, if you file a new application, you haven't filed an application before,
Mhm.
obviously that is subject to this 65,000 visa ceiling.
Mhm.
But let's say somebody is filing for the extension of H-1B.
Mhm.
If I'm on H-1B and I'm filing for the extension, then I don't have to queue up. I don't
Yeah.
have to wait for the number because the visas are available. So you can file
Yeah.
the application for an extension. For new applicants, this 65,000 lottery is very, very
Mhm.
important. So in other words, the Immigration Service is saying that we have received enough applications, and the people who has ended up filing the application on April 1st and perhaps on April 2nd, they've been, perhaps they're part of it,
Mhm.
and then the lottery would be picked up, and then they're going to announce how many application in total they received,
Yeah.
and applicants will start receiving notices from the Immigration Services. So that will come very soon. And there's
What-
another.
What is the situation of people applied CSS, LULAC, and all this?
Yeah, those are
is-
now, wow. You're taking me back to
Yeah,
2 decades.
Yeah, 2 decades. Yeah. What
Well,
is the
CSS
situation?
Lula cases, some people are trying to keep them alive
Yeah.
in certain ways. But to be very honest, there were some good applications too. I'm not saying
Mhm.
that CSS and Lula cases, because there is a overall impression about CSS and Lula cases. Everyone who filed the application was a
Yeah.
fraudulent application. No, there were thousands
So
of
where
people.
because the hundreds of thousands of application was, at that time there was no computerized system.
Right,
nothing.
right. Yeah.
So where the files are?
Well, that is stored in the archive of